Hello and welcome to Get Better, a show about two longtime friends trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. I'm Zach Johnson.
And I'm Sam Cherry.
Hey, Sam. How are you?
I am good. So I want to pitch you an idea.
Okay.
Okay, you know Eddie Murphy, right?
I am vaguely familiar.
Okay. So I am aware that Eddie Murphy used to be a big deal. I know he's still famous, right? But like he used to be a bit like Raw.
Yeah, he's famous the way that a lot of comedians from that era are famous. Like how like Steve Martin is still kind of famous.
Chevy
when it's
Chase.
Yeah, Chevy Chase is still kind of famous. But we only like because when you say Eddie Murphy and being famous, my first thing is like I know he was a comedian. I know he wore a red suit. And I know he was in a movie called Pluto Nash.
So, we, of course, were born in 1992 and...
In some other indescript year.
Yeah, right. You're thousands of years old. I was born in 1982. You, of course, were born eons ago. But I know him... I don't know... Here's the thing. I don't think I've seen a lot of Eddie Murphy movies. I've definitely seen some Eddie Murphy movies, but I'm not super familiar with him. But I know him culturally as like, oh yeah, Dr. Dolittle, and then Haunted Mansion, and then Norbert, and like I just remember having this. And when I found out, and this is years ago, but like there was a point in adolescence when I found out like, no, Eddie Murphy's like really funny. Like the guy from Meet Dave. Like Meet Dave guy is I'd never seen the movies, but it was just like that looks bad.
The Nutty Professor himself.
Yeah, like that doesn't seem, especially like Meet Dave, Pluto Nash, Norbert. Like these seem like terrible movies. I haven't seen them, but they don't look good. That guy, and it's like Raw. Is it called Coming to America?
Yes.
Okay. Raw, Coming to America, and there's another one that I can't remember that's really famous, but it's kind of part of my point. So, I've got two things to pitch you. They're the same thing, basically. But to intro this, I would like to pitch you a companion podcast that we much like Shortlist.
Mm-hmm. Our fan favorite shortlist.
Fan favorite shortlist is a full episode. It's not a segment. It's like a full, like we do a whole episode companion podcast. Murphy's Law, an Eddie Murphy experience.
I'm sold.
Where we watch every single Eddie Murphy movie. This is important, in order.
Oh, really?
So that we can see the evolution of Eddie Murphy. And I don't understand how he went from like America's favorite, funniest comedian to the guy from Meet Dave. And I want to watch the evolution of Eddie Murphy. I've got a second idea, which is Cage Match, where we watch every Nicolas Cage movie in a row.
I
think both exist. We can do both of them. I'm just giving those two ideas. Cage Match and Murphy's Law.
I like the idea of Cage Match, and it has a side challenge to it, which is we get ourselves into a literal cage and watch Nicolas Cage movies until one of us leaves the cage, because there are so many of them that it must be a brutal experience getting through all of them.
Yeah, there's like 70 or something. He takes
I think there's more than that. I think he's constantly doing projects.
I don't know, but I got this idea. Well, I had the Eddie Murphy idea a long time ago, but the Nicolas Cage was inspired by an episode of Community where Abed watches like every Nicolas Cage movie and has a psychotic break and starts pretending to be Nicolas Cage. But anyway, I think that would be funny. I don't know if it would be funny, honestly. And it's not like, I want to be clear, this is not like a Riff Tracks, move thing. This is not like a how did this get made, or like the Flophouse thing. This is not like I think Eddie Murphy is bad and let's make fun of him. I genuinely don't get Eddie Murphy. Like I don't get.
You just want to understand.
Not like I've seen it and I'm like, what's the fuss? I'm like, I know he did Raw and that was a big deal. That was like his George Carlin's 7 words you can't say on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know he did Raw, and that was a big deal. and
I
then
know.
also Pluto Nash.
Yeah, I'm aware that like, you know, Eddie Murphy exists on a lot of people's Mount Rushmores of comedy.
Yes.
And so yeah, like he's there next to like Richard Pryor and
Yes.
George Carlin and like the Chris or whomever. Like he's on the list.
But also he did meet Dave.
Yes.
So like what happened? And that's what I mean is it's not like Adam Sandler, where like Adam Sandler will make Grown Ups 2, which is trash, I assume. And then he'll make Uncut Gems, which is super good. Or he'll make The Cobbler, which is really bad. And then he'll make the other one where he punches that I don't remember the name of. Punch Drunk Love. I don't know.
Punch Drunk Love. Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Okay.
Yes.
Which
yes.
is good. So he oscillates, right? He does a good movie and a bad movie. Good movie, bad movie. A lot of bad movies. But you know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, I'm not. What is crazy to me about Eddie Murphy is that it went from, I think, all good to all bad. Like there's not like a Jack and Jill in there. It's like, or if he did Jack and Jill, it's all like in a row. And I don't know what happened to Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things. Like I'm looking through his list here of movies, and what I'm thinking, this is my hypothesis. This is my pre-Murphy's Law hypothesis that we can get into, and like we can even splice this out into its own little like intro trailer for it. My hypothesis is that he was cool. Yeah, because like a lot of these is like Beverly Hills Cop and right. like Coming to
Beverly
America,
Hills Cop 4.
Beverly Hills Cop 4. And then it gets into, I think, Eddie Murphy in the year 1996 decided to make a choice.
Okay.
And that choice was to enter into the later part of his career because he couldn't get away with being hot guy anymore because the 80s were over. And that is when a gentleman by the name of Sherman Klump was born, and I think that he bet a lot of his chips on that I can dress up as a lot of people thing.
Is Sherman Klump the Nutty Professor?
Yes.
Got it.
And then after that, he had, some success with Mulan because he was still like, he was being some like kind of silly, but even then
still
he's
Eddie
like,
Murphy.
Yeah, but he's like being silly. Like, I think that's the interesting thing about Eddie Murphy that I'm like now like culturally trying to wrap my head around.
Going completely cold. Tell me what is interesting about Eddie Murphy.
We are so millennial. He, because I've seen Coming to America and I haven't seen Beverly Hills Cop, but he is like silly, like he does silly things, and that is like. In Mulan, he does like a silly thing, and Nutty Professor just seems like the logical next step. Dr. Dolittle just seems like the logical next step because he's doing silly things, and that's what he kind of got famous for. And by the way, in the 90s, like comedy was just, it was a no man's land.
Well, they were getting out of the 80s when it was all like, is rape funny? And there's like, no, rape's not funny. And they're like, now we're in the 90s, like, I don't know what we're supposed to do. If we can't do rape jokes, I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, this Jim Carrey guy is really tearing up the scene. Maybe do that.
Is it farts? We can't steal women's underwear and that be the gag. So like, is it farts? Like, sure, farts is better. Go with farts for now. I don't know. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of the market was saturated with like kids movies.
Yeah.
Like there was never a better time to be growing up than in the 90s for like things. And like all this to say, I didn't even grow up in the 90s. I was too busy being a baby to appreciate the nuances of the Sandlot.
That's true. Oh, really? This is not our podcast. I did love Sandlot a lot. That was my, how everyone, people who have kids, because now we're at that age, kind of, where people are like, oh, my kid watched this movie 800 times. Like they just kept watching it over and over again. That was Sandlot and Romeo and Juliet by Baz Luhrmann. Those are my two movies that I just watched on loop. Yeah, because I'm a fucking weirdo.
Mine was oddly Toy Story 2. And I think that led into my really, really weird like Frasier obsession. Because Kelsey Grammer is in Toy Story 2. And I don't know if you're familiar that much with Kelsey Grammer, but
he played himself.
I think he pretends to have a range. Like he pretends to be an actor, but it's just like, you're just Kelsey Grammer in this.
Right.
Like you're just like a hoity-toity like fancy boy. Like
who was he in Toy Story 2?
He was he was a Prospector Pete or whatever is like the old man character,
the bad guy.
Yeah.
Toy Story 2.
Yeah. Toy Story always had that thing where it was the character you like. I guess in 2 and 3, it's like the character you trusted the most. It's like, I don't know about this guy. But
real
so
Scooby-Doo effect.
Yeah. The one who has the most information is the bad guy. That's how you solve all the Scooby-Doo mysteries.
Every single time.
Then again, man, we're so smart. we
fucking smart. I can figure out those babies.
Like we knew it. And like we knew that because it was animated different that something would move. We are so smart.
I knew that it probably wasn't one of the gang and there was another character, so it was probably the one other character.
The chances were low, but not zero, that it was going to be the Harlem Globetrotters, but I never thought it was going to be them. So
the show that they made for $8 in some tiny closet at the Hanna-Barbera studio figured it out.
So what were we even talking about? Eddie Murphy. And yes, I think so.
You were talking about Prospector Pete, but we can go back to Eddie Murphy.
Prospector Pete. All this to say, in the 90s, it was a bunch of like kid movies. And I think that's when he made the choice to do like Nutty Professor and Dr. Dolittle. Because it was like, this is where the money is. And then from there, he goofed because for a generation, he wasn't cool anymore. He was the guy that was doing silly movies. I'm trying to, and man, the 90s were so odd for kid movies. Cause I'm thinking now there was this, like Three Ninjas and Moron Mountain or whatever.
Sure.
And, Hulk Hogan is in that.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. And he's just like,
he's all over that shit.
And there's like one where Hulk Hogan, if you are a tough guy in a movie, there is a radioactive half-life before you do some rinky-dink kid movie.
We've talked about the John Cena Scooby-Doo movie, right? Surely.
The John Cena... No, we haven't talked about the John Cena Scooby-Doo movie.
Nor
am I aware if is it animated? It has to be.
Well, no. Yeah, they got a real dog and taught it to talk.
Listen, they did it once in Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed.
That's fair. Yeah, there's a Scooby-Doo... So at one point, the WWE or the WWF, I can't remember... one of them, before one or the other, they teamed up with Hanna-Barbera and Scooby-Doo, and they made 2 different like professional wrestling Scooby-Doo movies. It's like the Kiss, like when Kiss Saves Christmas, but also with Scooby-Doo or whatever that they made.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's 2 Scooby-Doo movies with John Cena. Maybe not both John Cena, but.
So I'm currently looking for the
We
Scooby-Doo.
talked about this.
We totally have not, because this is news to me in that I was looking for the Scooby-Doo movie one with John Cena, but I found the Flintstones and WWE Stone Age SmackDown.
That sounds rad.
This is...
Do we need a different podcast that's all about cartoon SmackDown movies? Because it seems like something there has to be some story there, right? Like this will be our serial podcast. We do an investigative journalism into like, hey, why did the WWE start making like a bunch of cartoon movies? Because it seems like that happened.
I love this. So I'm looking at the animation for the Flintstone one, and it's like very clearly done a little more cartoony.
Yeah.
Like it's blockier and it looks like more minimal. And because of that, you can just tell that they're the wrestlers they're like, if you went on a boardwalk and someone did a sketch of you, that's how you can tell it's John Cena. But in the Scooby-Doo one, like they had
real ass John Cena.
They had some poor animator like go in and have to draw each of his abs.
His whole face. His whole face is on there.
His whole face. His stupid hat. Him doing that like wave your hand in front of your face move.
Okay, so in 2002, WWE Studios was reformed, I guess, as WWE Films. It's an American film studio owned by the... I'm sorry, I misread that and I thought it said it was an animation studio. I was like, it's in 2002, they've had a whole... Okay, I don't know. I'm on the internet, but yeah, WWE Studios, is there just a whole Scorpion King? Oh shit. Are they just the like we employ professional wrestlers?
Yes.
The studio.
If you
WWE star featured, is this the one that makes Skyscraper?
So this is the thing that like there is constant. They didn't make Skyscraper. Dwayne Johnson is bigger than this now.
He broke free.
Yes, yeah. Once he got away with like people calling him Dwayne the Rock Johnson, like he started pushing his way out. And like, you know, there are people that just call him Dwayne Johnson. And because of that, he's won. Like the fact that no one is like, there are people that do not call him The Rock. He's soared past this. But yes, they're the ones that like make like direct to DVD and direct to video movies with WWE stars in like, they're always in the same situation. It's like, imagine a worse version of Taken or a worse version of John Wick, but instead of an assassin, he's like an ex-Marine.
Or the 2011 film Inside Out starring Triple H.
I'm sorry, what?
Unrelated to the other Inside Out. It is a different Inside Out starring Triple H, and it's Triple H and he has a gun. I don't know why. There's a lot of crossovers. So Scorpion King is like the big one, but also they made Leprechaun Origins, like from the Leprechaun film.
Yes, from the Leprechaun films, yes.
And you remember the film Surf's Up?
Yes.
They also did make Surf's Up 2, Wave Mania.
Oh, okay. So Surf's Up 2 Wave Mania. Okay,
Surf's Up is fine, but Surf's Up 2 Wave Mania was made by WWE Studios.
Man, when they had that meeting and they got the rights to that, we were like, we did it.
Yes.
Guys, we got it.
Jetsons in WWE, Robo WrestleMania. There's like a lot of these movies. Holy shit. I can't believe they came out the box with Scorpion King, though. The Marine, that makes sense. Wow.
Yes.
Did not think this is where this conversation was going.
So all that to say, Eddie Murphy, I think,
should we instead do a WWE WrestleMania podcast where we watch all these movies?
I mean, I don't think that. I feel like we got to get off the ground, you know. And I think with a title like Murphy's Law, and if it's just like two friends doing their own podcast about Eddie Murphy, we're gonna take off. The people are gonna find us, and then from there we're gonna Trojan horse our way into what we really want to talk about:
The Birth of the Dragon, starring B.H. Tilt.
Yes, and then it's like we are gonna sign on for a deal at some podcasting thing, and it's like, guys, just keep doing what you're doing. It's like you're gonna regret that because next week is WWE meets Scooby Doo.
Yeah, we'll give you 70% of the money if you're never allowed to question a single episode we ever make. Next week, Pure Country, Pure Heart, starring Shawn Michaels and Willie Nelson. It's a country musical. Watching it.
Starring a wrestler and Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson, Fighting for My Family, Blood Brothers, The Marine 6 Close Quarters, and the main event. We're watching all of them.
I love
Holy shit, this rules.
Like, I just love the idea that like the wrestling community is or the WWE, they're basically making Hallmark movies, but for wrestlers.
But wrestlers.
Because it's like with a Hallmark movie, you can just turn it on. It's like, I bet this is going to be some rich person has to go to a small town. They fall in love with the small town because this small town girl. And then they, at the very last second, sell their stock in whatever because it's going to hurt the farm. And then
pollution factory.
Yeah, their pollution factory that just takes paper and just shreds them in half and throws them right into a vat of toxic and then right into the river.
What it does is it takes Christmas presents and it churns them up and it turns it into blackberries, and that's what they make.
And even if it's a movie set in April, the main character has to say something like, "I'm too old for Christmas," something like that.
Yeah, and she like has a niece who's really like who's like just like really sweet and always like gives it to the guy, and it's just like, hey Bucko, and her middle name's Christmas or something, and she's really sassy about it.
Yeah, it's that. It's that, but sub in instead of small town guy, sub in ex-Marine, and instead of farm, sub in some indescript country that is not America.
Yeah. It's very similar to Six Underground.
Yeah, yeah, yes, it is.
Like for Marine 4 Moving Target, starring The Miz
Mhm.
and Summer Rae.
Yes, yes, it is. It is.
Straight to video.
Yeah, it is. Every movie could be called Good Guy with a Gun. Good Guy with a Gun 1 through 28, starring all different wrestlers.
Good guy with a gun beats the evil government
Yeah, Good Guy with a Gun has his family taken again.
again. Okay. Well, this is wild. I am going to close this Wikipedia page, but I think we should do Murphy's Law, and then after our brains have melted and we've watched every Eddie Murphy movie.
Good Lord, there is more than one Scooby-Doo wrestling movie.
Oh, I know. One has The Undertaker in it. It's a Western.
That's the one I just looked up.
There's only 2 of them. I'm aware of both.
Okay, good. Because I was looking into it. The only wrestler that I know definitively exists, I know John Cena exists, I know The Undertaker exists.
There you go.
And I was just like, what's.
You know Hulk Hogan.
It was like, yeah. But like the wrestlers that would have been around while we were around, like.
Sure.
Because Hulk Hogan, by the time we were born, he was on his way out. And he was already entering into like legend status.
Yeah.
So it's
and
like
he
who
made
are the
that
wrestlers?
show and killed Gawker and
Yeah. Man, shout out to him. He really got his immortality.
yeah, boy. There are a lot. Okay, I just want to say there's a lot of Eddie Murphy movies. I think we don't need to watch the Shrek movies. I don't.
Oh, no.
That's not really going to explain more to me about what's the deal with Eddie Murphy. I don't think we need to watch Mulan either, because again, voice acting, I just don't think it counts. But all of these other ones, they do, obviously not the Saturday Night Live. Coming to America is a sequel that hasn't come out yet, so maybe we can go to the premiere. Also, Beverly Hills Cop 4. So now he's in the stage of just rehashing those old
And
roles.
also, this is something that I think is incredibly important, and I think this is like this might be the last movie that comes out. Like this might be it, and then the Lord himself will come down and say, "All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. That's it, guys. Sorry." It is a movie called Triplets, and it is a sequel to Twins. Are you aware of the movie Twins?
What is happening?
So, there is a movie called Twins. It came out in the 1980s. For those that don't know, it is a movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger when Arnold Schwarzenegger was at the height of Arnold.
Are you seeing this cast? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I know.
Holy shit.
So Arnold is this, he's like this perfect human, and he was created in a lab just to be perfect. But while they injected him with drugs and steroids and all sorts of stuff while he was in the womb.
Yeah.
But what they didn't know is that he had a twin that was not getting any of those nutrients or any of those like goody good drugs.
I thought you were describing Arnold Schwarzenegger's life when you first started talking. You mean that you're explaining the plot to Twins?
Yes. And so it's Arnold, and his twin brother is Danny DeVito. And it's just funny because it's Arnold, who is just a brick wall of a man and a brick wall of a personality, and Danny DeVito finding out that they're brothers. It is a genuinely funny movie. It is honestly disarming sometimes how funny Arnold is, but I think that's just because he's just charming, and because he's charming, he can kind of get away with anything. And so there is a sequel to Twins coming out called Triplets. This is decades removed. Arnold Schwarzenegger won, and then is now not governor anymore of California. This was a long ass time ago.
Right.
And so they're going to do another movie, and the cast is coming back, baby. We got them both. We got Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. So what you're thinking to yourself is, it's called Triplets. That means they must find out there's a third one. Oh boy, is there ever. And it is our man, Eddie Murphy.
Okay, that's what's fucking me up. Is it says there is no cast except Arnold Schwarzenegger, Eddie Murphy, Danny DeVito, and the movie's called Triplets. Is he the third brother?
Yes, because it says Julius and Vincent Benedict discover they have a third sibling.
What?
There's 3 people in the cast, baby.
That's wild. That is a wild thing to be. Well, that would be great. Yes, I do think that'll probably be the end of all film and also all of our lives. But I would love. I mean, that movie is going to probably take a little bit to come out. I don't think they're going to rush that baby. They're probably going to wait till it's ready. So it's in pre-production. So maybe we can get through at least some of these movies before. So we'd start with 48 Hours, and then Trading Places. That's the other one. That's the big one that everyone's like, oh yeah, Trading Places. The ones that I think of as like Eddie Murphy is good at acting. Trading Places. This is just what I hear. Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop, Raw, which I understand is not a movie, but obviously we have to watch all of his comedy specials as well because we need to see Raw and understand what's happening there. Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America, Raw. Those are like the ones that I think that is good Eddie Murphy, I'm pretty sure. And then a lot of sequels. Wow. Okay, I don't want to ruin it.
So should we
Click.
watch all of Eddie Murphy's, like, so are we going to do this, like, are we going to do this one for one, or are we going to do like Eddie Murphy's? Basically what I'm asking is, like, as an intro, should we watch all of his like stand up and then talk about that?
Oh,
or just
I was thinking doing one for one. Just like watch 48 hours.
Even the stand-up specials.
No, I think once we get to those, like, if it was like a stand-up special came out in 1985, and also it was like, if like we watch a movie and then like, well, the next thing that came out was a stand-up special and then his next movie, we could talk about the stand-up special and then the movie. I mean, or whatever. I don't know. This is a live meeting. What do you think? Do you want to just do like, here's his stand-up, or do you want to like watch the stand-up as he's progressing through his career? Please.
Now, this is one thing that we can talk about if you want to, and if we want to stick to the medium of film and his stand-up specials, we can, but sure. I don't know if you're aware of this. Well, you may be, because one of our mutual friends talked about this, but Eddie Murphy has 3 albums, like music albums.
Oh, yeah, the one song that everybody knows.
Party All the Time.
Party All the Time. See, this is what I mean. I'm so aware of Eddie Murphy having seen almost nothing he's ever done.
Yes. So Eddie Murphy
what happened to Eddie Murphy?
Because he came out with 3 albums, and apparently, like, and I remember listening to Party All the Time.
Yeah,
and
of course, everyone's heard it.
Exactly. And I didn't know that it was Eddie Murphy. Like, I was just like, oh, this is just some 80s singer, sounds as good as any other of them. And it was just like, this is Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
So Eddie Murphy came out with 3 albums. They are How Could It Be in 1985, So Happy in 89, and Love's All Right in 93.
So wild. I would love to. I mean, I don't think we need a whole episode on that. I do know this from, of course, I Love the 80s, which is how I'm aware of this song. I don't think we need to go through, like, I don't think we need an episode, even though we did do half an Aaron Carter episode. I don't think we need an entire episode on each album, but we can probably, I think we just fit them in when it happens. So, like, listen to the album, and then we'll talk about whatever the next movie is. It's like, oh, well, and then we watched, Pluto Nash, The Origin of Pluto, or whatever.
Yes.
Fucking shit. And then, or whatever. It was an 80s movie, so, like, something, I don't know, Beverly Hills Cop 3 Reawakening. And then we, like, oh, and then also in between the last movie and Beverly Hills Cop 3 Reawakening, he came out with an album. So here's what the album is like as well. Or like the same with the stand-up special. Except for Raw. I think we need an episode for Raw. I mean, how many stand-up specials does he have?
I think, so I'm looking into it now, and I think he has 2.
Oh, then yeah, we can just do an episode on each of them.
Yeah, so I think, what I'm thinking here is I think he just has Delirious and Raw.
Okay. And also, if we need, I mean, I don't think we will, but if we need a whole episode to talk about an album, we can do that. But I feel like we should plan for, like, we're going to do an album and then whatever movie is next, and just like mention it, like, oh yeah, I heard it. Cause I don't think I can like listen straight through one time or even a little bit and like have a bunch of thoughts about Eddie Murphy's music. It's like, I don't know. It was pretty 80s.
Yeah. We'll bring
on.
We'll bring on a guest. We'll bring on Anthony Fantano.
Okay. So that was the other thing I was thinking. What if we did have guests come in for some of these episodes? I think it would be funny. Like, we not have like because obviously I like the show as you and me, right?
Yes.
Also, now the audience is just listening to a full on just regular. We're having a meeting. But I was excited about this idea, and we only talk on the show. So like,
That's
This
very
is
true.
the meeting.
That is very clearly not a joke, audience.
Yeah, episode 39. The boys have a meeting.
The boys have a honest to God meeting.
We just have a meeting about the show.
Which you should know by listening to this, that we do not have meetings off the show.
No, we text each other a little bit, and
We text each
before
other
the show.
We text each other articles to read,
Yeah.
or like TV shows to watch, and then we have meetings when we record.
Like 5 minutes before we started, I said, have I ever told you about my podcast idea, Murphy's Law, the Eddie Murphy Experience? And now we're here.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be fun because, again, I like You and Me, just the show, right? This is the show. But like, if we're trying to push ourselves as like podcasters, like, which we're not because we've made 38 episodes of a bullshit show about nothing. But like, if we want to be, I guess, which again is maybe the goal of the show. I'm not, it's unclear to me. I don't care. But if okay, what if we had guests? What if we had somebody come in who is like an expert on like, oh, I love Eddie Murphy's Raw, or like someone who's like, I love Dr. Dolittle and I know everything about Dr. Dolittle. I, off the top of my head, don't know anyone who
I cannot
has
think
seen
of
any
one
of these movies.
It's not even like, we don't even, because sometimes when people have guests that come on shows, it's like, I was like, this is my friend. He does like, he's doing shows at the Comedy Cellar this like next Thursday, and he's gonna come on and talk to us. It's like, this is a dude that we know that is finding out about Eddie Murphy at the same time as us.
Well, that's the problem, and maybe we need guests for the Nicolas Cage thing, because the thing is, we're white, and a lot of our friends are white, and I just not as culturally exposed to Eddie Murphy, and whereas I'm much more culturally exposed to Nicolas Cage movies, and you know what? That's a different show's job to unpack why it's a little fucked up that I've seen Nick Cage movies and not Eddie Murphy, or maybe it's not fucked up. I don't know, but the point is that nobody I know watches Eddie Murphy movies, so maybe not guests. But maybe guests,
or maybe
Cage.
guests. Like
maybe guests. Maybe we just have our funny friends. Like, yo, you need to watch Norbert, and then like come on our show and like do japes and jokes about Norbert,
and see what
maybe,
and just talk about Norbert. And we
know movie people. Like, we know people who are smart about movies.
And then the goal is to meet Eddie Murphy.
The goal is to meet Eddie. The goal is to be in an Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah, the goal is to be an extra in an Eddie Murphy movie, and or find some poor like some producer's assistant who, like, from just fan backlash, has to invite us to, because Eddie Murphy just recently signed a deal with Netflix to do some more stand-up specials. So
okay, great.
Getting in the audience of those.
Okay. What if our goal is to become
Eddie Murphy?
Oh. No, this isn't a Meet Dave situation. I don't want to become Eddie Murphy or pilot him around like a robot, which I think is what happens in Meet Dave.
Who knows?
Who knows? It's very similar to Pluto Nash, and I think came out right afterwards. When I say similar, I mean the preview I watched on TV 10 years ago seemed similar, because I have not seen either movie. What we need to do is become the preeminent experts on Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
And then when they make an Eddie Murphy documentary, they cut to a scene. All these kings of comedy, all these like great.
Yeah,
oh my gosh!
It is Cedric the Entertainer.
Yes.
It is.
And then they cut to these two motherfuckers.
Yeah, these two guys.
We're like, we just know a lot about Eddie Murphy.
We had to learn a lot about Eddie Murphy. We had to do a lot of digging. We had to find. We've seen all of his movies, definitely once, and
we genuinely, unironically, were curious about the career of Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
so we just watched every movie.
We spun off our hit podcast Murphy's Law into a book deal, also about Eddie Murphy. Anyway, it's just us and our various vacation homes. We're actually not talking. We're feuding at the time of the filming of the documentary.
We're gonna get in a huge feud.
Big
ass feud. Here's the thing, because I want to make it very clear, not a Mystery Science Theater thing. I don't think Eddie Murphy's shitty. I'm just pretty sure his later movies aren't good, and I want to know why.
And
what's the deal?
We want to find out about Eddie Murphy.
I'm very curious about Eddie Murphy. It's my whole deal. And Nicolas Cage too. I mean, I've seen Wicker Man, and like that wasn't good. But
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
also seen Kick-Ass, and that was good.
Yes, he's very confusing.
This is the Community thing. This is where in Community they're like, he's good, but also bad, and why? Like,
yeah,
how?
and he
That's
should
the
always
Community.
be referred to as Academy Award winner Nick Cage after we get past Leaving Las Vegas.
Right.
Because after then, every movie that he does is by an Academy Award winning actor.
Oh, that's really funny. Yes, but this isn't about Nick Cage. I feel like we can get there if the Eddie Murphy thing works. Also, I feel like at some point our fans, okay, and hey, I'm sorry if you just did this, or you took out your earbuds and you looked at your spouse or your roommate or Nick Carter, who you're sitting next to at the garage show, and you said, if they say Eddie Murphy one more goddamn time, I'm going to throw my phone out a window. And I'm sorry. You're going to hear his name a bunch more times because maybe this is the whole show. But anyway, I think maybe we bring on our funny friends or anyone who's seen any one of these goddamn movies, and we have guests on the show to be like, so you also saw Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Nice.
What's up?
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. I'm totally in. Do you want to do a segment?
Yeah, let's do a segment.
Let's go back into the operating room. Let's do a script doctor.
Oh shit! Do you have one ready?
No.
Okay, I've got one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I knew at least you had one. So I
one.
wanted to say go back in the operating room.
That's fine. You know,
Yeah.
commit to the bit.
Is anyone a doctor?
I need to refresh my list now that you've expended my 3 shitty movies.
I think we're at 42 minutes already, so we may
Yeah,
only
we're
have time for
good.
like one or two.
Well, I've only got one left. so
Okay,
I
perfect.
need
Let's just do that one then.
to do the one. Where's my thing called Script Doctor? Why I need to call Doctor. Ripped Doctor. Okay. Oh, fuck. I forgot about this. Okay. So, I've got a script for you. The guys at NBC, they loved our pitch. They loved A to Z. They loved the other one, Cursed, not
Yeah.
Charmed. Did not like your pitch for Charmed.
Yeah, they
but
did
they
not.
loved Cursed and the dog and everything. But so they sent us a new one, and this is a 2014 show called Bad Judge. Now the series chronicles the personal life and wild lifestyle of Rebecca Wright, a tooth and nails judge serving in the Los Angeles County Circuit Court. Learn to read, Sam. Whose time off the bench is spent partying and displaying reckless behavior. So it's like Bad Teacher, but she's a judge.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Also, her last name is Wright. Let me just throw some ideas out. Are you aware of the video game Phoenix Wright?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Phoenix Wright is a lawyer anime video game.
Oh,
I
is
know
that
that's a
what-
lot to take
Is that
in,
what the memes are from?
I don't know. It's the lawyer. Is there a different lawyer anime video game? It's probably that one. If it's
It's
an
like the
anime
one-
boy saying objection, then it's
Yeah,
probably that
yeah.
one. Okay, so what if we do we go animated? Do we make it a video game? No, we need
Okay.
to get season 2. Let me
Well,
just
Yeah,
Go.
well, we gotta, like, I'm looking through what happens throughout the show. I'm kind of doing a brief run over.
sure.
What Sam also should have mentioned is this show ran from October 2nd, 2014 to October 31st, 2014. It made it about the length of a month.
No, that can't be true. I'm looking at the ratings, and episode 13, Case Closed, came out January 22nd, 2015.
Never mind.
Got a whole season.
It
Now-
said, well, here's the thing, though. I think it says the series premiered, but the series was canceled on October 31st. However, it went on to go through.
Oh, so
rest
they
of the thing.
knew. They were like,
So let's see. That's we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 episodes in before NBC was like, you know what, this is not it.
okay, so maybe that's the point that we need to. That's where
Yeah,
we need to
what-
work
yeah.
from. That's where things went wrong. Episode 5,
Mhm.
Judge and Jury. It got a 0.9 out of 3. don't have any fucking clue what that means. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna read some of this, so I'll have some ammunition as I'm going through.
Okay.
Let's see.
I think I'm just gonna go with the titles because
Really?
we've got pilot, clear on that one. Meteor shower, one brave waitress, knife to a gunfight, judge and jury. That's what I'm working with. And also Phoenix Wright. I feel like we got something there. Now, it turns out that the show, part of the reason the show was canceled was that the Florida Association for Women's Lawyers thought it was so terrible and such a bad representation that they asked NBC to cancel it. The show is not only offensive, this is a quote, the show is not only offensive to many women judges who serve at the highest level of integrity, but also dangerous to the extent those who hold preconceived notions about women judges will find their sexist beliefs reaffirmed. That wasn't very funny. That was a quote I read. Like, I read words and filled time, which I guess is part of what a podcast is, but that wasn't a very like punchline joke, right? There was just sort of the sexist show was sexist.
The punchline was sexism.
Yeah, the punchline was sexism exists. So maybe not that one. I mean, the show for sure. I think we can do. But okay, but we got something to work with here. The show is very sexist. Okay? She's a bad judge. She does bad stuff. Her name does sound like Phoenix Wright. Where are we? Maybe she gets bonked on the head. Okay. Maybe episode 5. She's in the courtroom. She's like being a sexist trope. So she's like, I want makeup or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the bailiff is like moving a big a 2x4, right? He's got to do some construction because she's building a shopping center in the back of her chambers. Again, these are not my views of women judges. I'm saying what would be a shitty sexist show.
Yeah. So you're saying like lean into it a little bit.
Well, and then the bailiff is like, I should probably be doing the bailiff stuff. And she's like, no, I need you to build a mall behind the bench so that I can go shop. So he's like, okay. And then he's carrying a big 2x4 and someone's like, I object. And she's like, what? And he turns around real fast, or she takes some bullshit. I don't know. We'll write it later. They say something. He turns around real fast, bonks her in the head with the 2x4, and she just, and she wakes up, and now it's animated. And now it's Phoenix, and now she's in the anime show. She's in the anime lawyer show, but it's Phoenix Wright.
So if we're doctors, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take two separate people and do a reverse removal of Siamese twins and sew two people together. We are trying to create two independent properties and slam them together.
I am trying to take bad judge and bonk her on the head, and then she's in the video game. Maybe. I know the resolution is she gets unbonked, or she wakes up, or not. Yeah, let's see how the show does. Maybe we do 10 seasons. Who knows? But then she wakes up and she's like, I've learned a lot from my anime video game friends, and actually, I'm gonna go to Yale.
Oh, okay.
And women in STEM.
Okay,
and she does like a women in STEM thing. She's already a judge, so like she probably.
Now, here's the thing. So Phoenix Wright,
that's my pitch.
I'm looking this up right now. So Phoenix Wright is a character in Ace Attorney. So he's Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Correct. Are we saying, is Phoenix Wright, he has to be in the show. Like, that's.
Phoenix Wright is her, she's the judge.
Oh, so she's still a judge in this world.
She doesn't have to be.
Oh my God. Well, she could still be a judge. And that is a lot of where the drama lies, is that Phoenix Wright is her brother. And Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, is like, she's like, they have a really harsh dynamic because he is a defense attorney or whatever he is. Defense. I would assume he's a defense attorney because it'd be kind of weird if you played as a prosecuting attorney. I feel like
I've never played the game.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be strange because it's like you want to do it's like if you're going to be a good guy, I feel like the good guys are never the prosecuting attorneys.
Here's what I'm thinking. Fuck all that.
Okay. Okay.
Literally everything I just said. Bad judge. Okay, she's a bad judge. Let's remove the sexism. She's not a bad judge because she like drinks martinis or whatever. Again, not what I think. Just I have no idea what happens in the show, and the lawyer said it was so sexist that they needed to cancel it. So like, I don't know, Appletinis. I don't know. These are not my opinions. But we take it, much like Cursed. We just say, this whole Cursed thing not working. Now it's the Weber show, right? Bad judge. We say, how about instead of making her a sexist trope, episode 5, they're like, episode 5, judge and jury. They're like, oh, what's that law? Oh shit. Judge, what's the law? What's the like you can't like murder on an escalator law? What was that one? Or you can't like steal. And she's like, and they're like, wait, do you know laws? And she's like, I'm a bad judge. I don't know shit. I don't know any. They're like, okay, well, you're our protagonist. So actually, you're not in jail. You have to go back to lawyer school. And so then she goes back to lawyer school. And then, so we just drop it. We just don't even talk about it.
Okay.
The sexism, we just drop it completely. And now she's in lawyer school.
I have a separate pitch. Okay. Here's what I think. Okay. So her name is what's her name? Rebecca Wright. How about it's like, she is hooking up with this fireman named Billy, which is a thing I just read from the Wikipedia. There is a
that's real. Okay.
There's a firefighter named Billy.
Got it.
They're like they're hooking up, and she like they wake up the next day and she's like, oh hey, can you hand me my wallet? And he goes like, sure thing. Looks at the wallet and goes like, oh, your name isn't Rebecca Wright? And she goes, oh no, that's just a name I use as I'm a judge. My real name is Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh shit! And it's the origin story.
It is no longer like bad judge is not used in the context that she is like a bad judge. It's the men call her a bad judge because she is doing so much to fight sexism. They take the angle that they got critiqued for and they totally flip it on its head, and they're just like, wow. It is a modern day reimagining of the rise of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I like
and what she would do today, like how she would fight. She's
I like
still,
that because
still alive.
She's still doing things today. As of this recording because she's alive. But no, I like that, like a kind of like instead of doing like modern day Frankenstein or like a modern day like what would Dracula be like in the modern day, or like, something like that. It's like, what would this currently living person be like if actually
that has never been done. No one is ever just like, what would Bill Gates be doing right now?
Okay. Here we are. Ruth Bader. That's not how time travel works. Never mind. Wait a minute. She can't travel back in time and be younger. That doesn't make sense. Okay, never mind. No time travel angle. I'm gonna cut. Never mind. That doesn't make sense.
I don't. I was gonna say she travels back in time. I want it to be a complete retelling. I want it to be like it is her as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but set in modern times, as if because I think that opens the window for so many cameos. Like you could have so many people come in that were like on the rise with Ruth Bader. You could be like, she's doing Ruth Bader Ginsburg stuff. Yeah. And it's just like, oh man, that president's such a pig. Who? Nixon? And it's like, it's Nixon.
It's like a Clone High thing.
Yes.
Okay. Let me. I think we're gonna run into some legal troubles with having real ass Ruth Bader Ginsburg in there. So what if we switch it up and we call her Ruth Gator Binsburg, the thing you keep saying over and over again?
Yes, good.
We call her Ruth Gator Binsburg, and then they're like, fuck, that's a totally different person. Because the other thing, and I don't know if we need to address this, I don't know if this is like a real serious drama, we do need to address the fact that like it'd be really weird to have a show about a female judge in a world where Ruth Bader Ginsburg doesn't exist. I guess you would just have a different lady on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we would do. We would just have but her name's not Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Gosh, it would be a totally separate thing where like her best friend is Sonia Sotomayor. Like it's already there. Like they live in an apartment together.
It's Clone High. It's Clone High.
Yeah,
but
it's
judges.
Clone High. Yes.
And they're all like, she's the bad judge, and it's like, why? Because she's a woman, and it's like, yeah, but it's 2020. We don't think like that anymore because of. And then they all look on the ground. They're like, what? Who? I know there was somebody who broke the glass ceiling and changed all this for women in law, but I can't remember who it is. And then they just sort of psychotic break, right? They're just sort of like, and they've seen through the Truman Show and they're just fucking out of the show.
And then,
okay,
Judge Rebecca Wright wakes up from her coma.
Oh, shit.
And she is like, I guess I must have got bonked in the head when I was telling the bailiff to build that mall.
No more mall. We're building a school for girls, for women in STEM. What we're going to do.
That's what we're doing. I have seen the error of my ways when I was Ruth Gator Ginsburg, and I had to usher in the era of women in law. Now I can see how detrimental my attitude has been.
Zach, we could do one episode. Then the whole shit's back on track. We don't even need to reboot that.
Yeah.
We just do episode 5. It's just like she gets bonked on the head. She believes she's Ruth Gator Ginsburg, and she's her roommate Sotomayor. And then they're like living, and they've got this like real scummy guy who's always hitting on her at the bar, Richard Nixon, or Nichard Rickson, whatever you want to call him. I don't know. We'll get to it. We'll deal with it. I don't know if we totally need to switch their names up, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then they have their whole adventure. And then she's sitting there and she's like, no, I object. And then you hear like, Rebecca. And she's like, what? And she wakes up and she's on the ground. And she's like, and that's when she gives her big speech, and she sends somebody to jail for life or something.
Yeah, like, for like saying something sexist.
For telling her to smile more. And
yeah.
You go to prison forever.
Yeah, judges have the power to do that. That's actually.
Yeah, if they do something that's annoying and sexist, they continue to prison forever. And then they do that, and then she opens the school for STEM. I hope we haven't been wraparound sexist. I hope
not
right?
either. Yeah, I cannot emphasize enough how much we're
making fun of sexist tropes. Right?
Exactly. I absolutely. Yeah, I think we're landing. If we're not, oh no.
Who knows?
I think even more surprising, this show was made by Will Ferrell and Adam McKay.
Yeah, they really did not. I see that here on this.
They really did not land this one, but we did. We
got it. She builds a mall. She turns it into a STEM for girls school,
and then we flip the title on its head, where it's like she is a bad judge because she's like a bad judge.
That's better than Judge Bad. That's better.
Yeah. Yeah, which was our original working title.
That is what I thought you were gonna say when you said flip it. But I, as stated before, am very stupid, so that makes sense. Okay, this is good. I think that works. I hope it wasn't wraparound sexist. But who knows? We'll see. We're throwing stuff at the wall. We gotta. This is the creative process. I'll send it to my guys over at NBC.
Yeah,
we'll see what they think. We'll get this. Yeah, let's get Bad Judge back on the. We'll get it back on the air.
Let's get Judge Bad back on the air.
Oh, Judge Bad. Yes, and then there's a cameo right at the end.
Like after the credits.
She's walking out of the courthouse, and she's at a library or something, and she's like doing whatever, I don't know, she's doing something, right? And she looks over and she's like, man, I've just had, oh shit, no, this is in the dream, let me go back.
Okay
She's in the dream. This is right before she wakes up, and she is in a library, and she's like, I don't know what to do, this Richard Nixon guy's the worst. And then she's talking to an old lady who's the librarian, played by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And then she wakes up, whatever. She's walking out of the courtroom. She's about to get on a bus, and there's a lady sitting there, and it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And she's like, wait, you're the lady from my dream. Because she's such a shitty judge. She doesn't know who Ruth Bader Ginsburg is. And so then Ruth Bader Ginsburg is getting on the bus because she rides a bus for some reason, and she goes, who knows? And then gets on the bus, And it's like, wait a minute, was that all real? Did that really happen? Was I Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Who knows? Cut to black for episode 5, even though there's another episode next week. It's fine. We got the show back on the air, so we don't need to like cut to black. But I just think like, boom, maybe it was all real.
And then we could possibly have her come back for some more episodes. You know, we could have Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you know, test her comedic chops.
Yeah, put her in the MCU. Make her the new Ant-Man. It'll fucking rule. Is that where you were going with that? Because that's the vibe I felt.
I just wanted her to be like kind of on this show, and she's like crack some jokes every once in a while, and then you know America's audience is just like, she's funny. Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg is really funny.
New Iron Man movie, right? They're like, wait, but Iron Man? It's like, yep, Iron Man. He's fucking in this one, and then you take off the helmet, and it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's like, I'm in this one. I'm in this one now. Now I'm here in the movie. I'm Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I am Iron Man. I feel like now we're working a new Iron Man movie, and that's not the brief.
No.
The brief is to fix Bad Judge, which I feel like we have done.
Yes. Okay, so that's our show. Thank you all so much for listening to Get Better. You can find us at Get Better Podcast. That's Get_Better Podcast. And you can also reach us at meetthefockers2 fockedup@gmail.com. That is meetthefockers2 fockedup@gmail.com. If you have any more suggestions on sitcoms we should talk about, or if you still want to enter in to win all of our Goodyear Get Better bucks, then you can go there as well. We do not have a Patreon, but if we did, it would be hyperlinked to any of the charities that are helping out with the COVID-19 outbreak. I was doing some more research on some this week, and one that I really like is Off Their Plate. It is a charity that makes meals and gives it to people that have lost their jobs from the COVID-19 outbreak. And that is all we have for this week. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
All right.
See you bye forever.
See you bye forever.